All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Holiday edition of Let Me Say This. Got a full crew in the house. We even got the contributor from the Elephant in the Room, Finn, in here. We got Raphael back. Shouts out to him for a great football season. We want to say F the refs. Sorry, Dre. But
Yeah, and
got a big...
I'm holding a grudge still. I'm holding a grudge.
Got a big slate of games on this Thanksgiving weekend. College and pro rivalry week. We're going to cover both bases, but we're going to start off with the pros. Fellas, let's preview the first matchup on Thanksgiving. Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers. What are we expecting to see from that game? Raphael, since you've been gone for a while, we're going to start off with you.
It's hard because Detroit's coming. Both teams are coming off of a short week, right? Like they played on Sunday. They got 2 days, and they got another game on Thursday. Detroit, the past couple years, has been playing pretty well. They just got Ragnow back
Out of retirement.
off of retirement, so I'm kind of expecting Montgomery and Gibbs to have a day. As long as Amon-Ra St. Brown can catch the footballs that are thrown to him by Jared Goff, then I think Detroit can take it away. Green Bay, their defense is really good, and they like to stop the run, but I still think their offense can't hang with Detroit.
Yeah,
Personally, I just don't think their offense can do it.
We did see in that first game.
And Green Bay is getting back Josh Jacobs. He's coming back from injury this week, and that's all good. But Jordan Love seems to not really be playing up to the standard that he's living in, and I don't know if it's Jordan Love or Matt LaFleur. I can't tell if it's Matt LaFleur putting the reins on Jordan Love and not letting him air it out. So I'm kind of leaning more towards Detroit in the first game, personally.
I'll go ahead and take this one. As far as this one, I expect with Detroit, like I said, they like to be physical, run, set up a little play action. I think we're going to get a lot of heavy dose of Jahmyr Gibbs again coming off that game he just had versus New York with almost 300 all-purpose yards. And then, of course, we still going to get David Montgomery. That Frank Ragnow, fresh out of retirement, that's tricky. We're like 13 weeks into the season, and he hasn't played played in a football game since last season. So I wonder how they're going to use him. I wonder is he going to be on some type of a pitch count. I know he's an offensive lineman, but still not going through a training camp or preseason and 12 weeks of a regular season and coming fresh off the couch. It's different. Yeah, you can train all you want, but you still got to go out. You still got to take some of that punishment, that some of these guys have been taking throughout the duration of this season. Now, go ahead.
And you got to think it's Frank Ragnow, and you have Micah Parsons on the other side coming up the middle. So it's not like he's going against some scrub, right? Because Parsons is moving around the entire field. If he's blitzing up the middle and Ragnow's the center, that's a pretty tough task right out of retirement.
Walker and all those guys as well.
Yeah.
So, with Detroit, I think, what I'm saying, as far as it's really dependent on what that Detroit's defense can do, honestly. Because we already know the offense is going to show up. And as far as a Green Bay, it's just been a roller coaster for Jordan Love this year, man. Like, some games might be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. The next game is like, is he worth the money? Sometimes I know you say it's Matt LaFleur, is it him? But it's like, it's the same problem with Aaron Rodgers. Like, who do they have at receiver? I know Aaron Rodgers had Devontae Adams, but even then, like, who did he have outside of Devontae Adams when he was there? So now it's just like they don't really have a main number one. They don't have a T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They don't have a Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. They don't have that type of weapons up there. They got some quality guys, don't get me wrong, like a Jaden Reed, Wicks, Christian Watson, and
Romeo
then
Dobbs.
Of course the Tucker Kraft got hurt, so that's also a big miss. And they're definitely going to need a Josh Jacobs to help keep Detroit's offense off the field to get him going in the run game as well. So I think this is going to be like I said, this is going to be a great way to start off the triple header for Thanksgiving. If nobody else wants to make a prediction, I will make a prediction. I will say that it's going to be probably like a high 20s to low 30s type of game. I'm going to go Detroit. I'll go 31-27 to keep them afloat in the playoff chase. I know Green Bay got one of the wild card spots. I know Detroit is on the outside looking in. If anybody else, Dre fan, y'all want to jump in and tag team on this one before we close it out and move on to the next one, y'all welcome to do so.
With this game, first to go off and make my prediction. I predict that Detroit will win. As usual, it's hard to beat the same team twice, especially within the same year. But the thing that I want to focus on, I want to see if Detroit can run the ball against Green Bay because their first game, their highest rusher was Montgomery with only 25 rushing yards. So I would like to see if they can get the rush game going along with Gibbs and the guys on the outside, such as Williams and the other receivers, and being at home. I want to see how they execute against this team losing by 2 touchdowns week 1. My score, I think it'll be, I'll say 27-13.
Hey, Fen, I got a question. Do you think that's why Detroit brought back Frank Ragnow for the running game against Green Bay?
Possibly, because just looking at Detroit's schedule after week 1, that was actually the lowest game besides Philadelphia when they only had 39 yards. That was with Gibbs, but yeah, that might play a key factor in it, bringing him back.
And also before
I mean, my
you go,
biggest
Dre, it's
thing.
also no, go ahead. I was about to say no. Go.
I was just gonna point out, the biggest thing about this game is once again, first of all, the NFC North. Another looks like it's gonna come down to a 3-way race for the top. The only thing separating two teams that we're talking about first here is a tie. Instead of they should really have the same record, 7-4, but the Packers are 7-3-1. The Lions are 7-4. You go back 2.5 months ago, you really get dominated by your your division rival, and now you come back months later. In the last 4 games, the Packers are 2-2 with some pretty tough losses in there and some pretty low scoring games where their offense didn't really output. And then in the last 4 for the Lions, they're 3-1 with their last loss coming against another division rival and the Vikings. I think that one, I watched that game. That was a little bit of a shaky one. But since then, they've been on a 3-game tear. In that 3-game tear, Jahmyr Gibbs has been on a 3-game tear in this last couple of games. So I think it's more of a question right now of what does the Packers defense do to match and box him? Because we still, just like last week and a couple times over this season, we haven't seen the Lions completely get a focused game on Jameson Williams. Like Raphael said, we still seeing some troubles with Amon St. Brown catching the ball, which is not really his thing. But,
yeah.
I think there's just so much more left for the Lions to do. I think it continues tomorrow. I really like Jared Goff. I've liked him ever since he got over to Detroit. What he's done, over there to help them change the culture. So anytime it's Thanksgiving, it's Detroit in Detroit, I'm rooting for the home team. So I got to go with the Lions. I don't care what the score is.
Yeah, I was about to say, and also with that Frank Ragnow move, they got a team coming in next week that made a move as well before we transition. When they made the trade, and why they traded Michael Parsons, I'm pretty sure everybody know who we get into. One of their main things was to stop the run, so a Frank Ragnow can also help versus this team. And here we go with the probably going to be the most watched game of the season as far as the regular season goes. You got Jerry World, you got Thanksgiving, you got the Cowboys, the Chiefs, probably two of the biggest brands in the NFL right now. And
Golden boy.
Patrick Mahomes, the Dak Prescott, 3:30 Eastern kickoff, the marquee matchup. What do we expect from this game? As we've seen the Cowboys fight back from being down 21 to score 24 in answer versus the Eagles, and then the following week go out there and dominate the Raiders, after the passing of Marshawn Nealon. So this 2-game stretch right now is like the Cowboys has been on a little mini renaissance. But what are we expecting to see from this game from both teams? And we see the Chiefs kind of bow up and go out there and get a win versus division-leading Indianapolis Colts one time for Daniel Jones. I called that in the offseason, by the way. But what do we expect to see from these two teams? I will never count the Chiefs out, but they have some flaws, but I will still never count them out. But what do we want to see from this game?
Can I start with
well,
this one?
Go ahead.
Go
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 ahead.
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, man, the 230 spot is the favorite, is the Cowboys' favorite spot, or the 230, 330 spot is the Cowboys' favorite spot to play in. And I knew that because I started looking it up before we even got to this topic. 2022, Dallas Cowboys 28, New
I was
York
at that
Giants
game.
20.
I was at that game.
2023, Dallas Cowboys 45, Washington Commanders 10. 2024, Dallas Cowboys 27, New York Giants 20. Tomorrow is something that the NFL doesn't want to see, but I do. And I want to see the Dallas Cowboys put a beat down on Patrick Mahomes and the boys. And I am a Mahomes boy. But what should have been a continued losing streak after the efforts last week by the Chiefs, they got away with another one. But I don't think there will be a lot for the Chiefs, Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones. I don't think there's going to be a lot for them to be thankful for tomorrow. Dak Prescott and the boys have been pretty good as of late. They've been up and down. The record to me doesn't really reflect what you see on the field, especially when you throw those two A1 receivers out there on the field. That's my favorite part of watching the Cowboys right now. But they're going to be scrutinized all year. And I know what Lice is going to say about this. They're going to be scrutinized all year about the Parsons trade. But dag nabbit, I say it, and let me say this. Jerry might be a madman, but he's a madman with a plan, because he brought two interior enforcers that here kind of at the teetering spot of the season could still help the Cowboys get that last final push that it takes to get into the playoffs, and maybe a win over the Chiefs on Thanksgiving in the middle of the day while everybody's watching help start that momentum.
I will say, this version of the Cowboys and this brand of football, this type of football travels. Got a solid run game, and then you got a defense, and you getting guys back. Overshawn came back versus the Raiders last week. We drafted a rookie in Savon Revel. He came back. You add Quentin Williams. You already got a Logan Wilson, who was just sitting on the bench in Cincinnati for we don't know why. You bring him in, contribute with the linebacker core that we got. So we got some guys and got some pieces. It's all looking good, but it's just the fact that can you, with this slate of games, like after Kansas City and Detroit, the schedule gets kind of easy. You get the Vikings, you get the Chargers, you get Washington on Christmas Day, and then you close out with the Giants. But the tricky thing about this is you get a game tomorrow on a Thursday. You come back next week and play on a Thursday. You play on the 14th. So when you look at it, it's going to be like a 4-game stretch in like 18, 19 days. So I wonder how can they handle that. And we talked about, this is college is college, pro and pro. But with the Alabama schedule, playing all those ranked teams back to back to back, and then you finally get an unranked team versus a South Carolina, what are you going to go out here and do? So how are the Cowboys going to respond after? Now, how the Cowboys are going to fare in this stretch can tell them, like, how far can they go in the playoffs. Now, what I expect tomorrow with CeeDee Lamb had against the Eagles this year, 7 drops. He had 4 in the first game and 3 in this the previous game. I expect a big game from CeeDee Lamb. Props to Steve Spagnuolo, but I think this offense is a little bit too multi-dimensional. Like, if you want to line up and make Dak Prescott beat you, I feel like he can. So that's that. The running game, like I said, we got a solid running game, so there's that as well. But my concern really is I want to see how we look against even like I said, this Chiefs offense is fatally flawed, but it's still Andy Reid. But I wonder, can he cook up? And they also, Rashee Rice, he got banged up in that game. Is he going to be available? He's coming back to his hometown. He's from the Fort Worth area. But I want to see what these guys do. I don't think it's going to be a beatdown, but I'll say the Cowboys win this 27-17. And I'll let you take it, Finn, because it's the home team for us. So I'll let you take a stab at it.
Oh, mine just gonna be quick and to the point. What I would like to see, as far as I'm just gonna focus on Dallas. And I'm really cool with Kansas City. What I would like to see for Dallas is just basically CeeDee Lamb go ahead and have that big game. Right now, Pickens is the number 1 receiver, in my opinion. He's leading, and I would expect Dak to go out there and lead the guys. No turnovers. Just doing what he's good at defensively. Continue to play well. Make Patrick Mahomes play behind the sticks. Because if you let him get ahead or you give him just a slight chance, he's very dangerous with anybody you put out there, anybody he got out there. So you keep Mahomes behind the sticks, the offense, put on the show. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout, but in a perfect world, if that does happen, yes, it'll be a blowout, but I expect a close game. I'll say 24-17. Yeah, so it's Dallas gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. But I expect a big show from the Dallas offense.
So on my end, and I am the biggest anti-Dallas Cowboy fan ever. But this year they've really made me pay attention. And they've really made me pay attention this year because George Pickens is playing for a contract. CeeDee Lamb is considered the number one, but he's been having an off year. But their running game and their offensive line has been impeccable. Brian Schottenheimer, God bless him. He's been doing an amazing job as a head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. I think he did a great job handling the issue with Marshawn Nealon. I think he's done a great job with rallying the troops, especially after the Micah Parsons trade. If this game happened 2 weeks ago, I'm saying Kansas City runs over Dallas because Isaiah Pacheco's just going to have a field day. But when you pick up, I agree with Dre on this. Jerry's a madman, and I think he had a plan. But when you pick up Quinnen Williams, who is his career is based on stopping the run. He's a big man that stopped it in New York. He was the only shining light on the Jets. And you pick him up, you bring him to Dallas, you put him in the star, and you give him the bright lights. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco's in for a long day. I mean, it's not gonna be a very big running game.
Is he even gonna play? Because I know he didn't play last week. I know we got Kareem Hunt. I know we got Kareem Hunt and what he can do with his versatility.
Right. And yeah, he's versatile, but again, you're looking at, to Fenn's point, if you put Mahomes behind the sticks and behind script. And another thing that a lot of people don't talk about, Matt Eberflus is coaching for another head coaching job. And look at what he's done with that defense the past 2 weeks. You held arguably one of the highest powered on paper offenses, right? A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley couldn't get going. I think he only got 56 yards.
He had Saquon had, I want to say, Hurts had 33, Saquon had 26, and another guy had like 8 yards off one carry.
Is absolutely great.
Yeah, and I think Saquon had 56 total scrimmage yards. Mm-hmm. Right? So if Saquon's not productive against that defense,
who is?
And that's funny because that's really we not really on Philly, but that's been the story of Philly all year. Like they have no identity. And the crazy part about that, in a world where you at least have an average run game, you're up 21-0. You're probably going to close that game out and win, let's say 28-14, because you're making enough plays on the ground to keep the clock. You're
controlling the clock. You're controlling the clock.
They can't do that.
And they couldn't do it. They went from scoring their first 3 drives to all of a sudden going punt, fumble, and the other side of it is that special teams play that the gunner for Dallas made.
Elijah Clark, yes, sir.
Clark, yeah. That when he caused that fumble, I mean, that was impressive. I mean,
you even had the long snapper. Like
you got some gritty guys in Dallas, and I'm thinking it's going to be 2017 Dallas. It's going to be a fight because you're still playing Andy Reid, and the Chiefs will be the Chiefs. But I do want to see. And Dak Prescott's honestly, Dak Prescott is playing probably the best football of his career, in my opinion.
I will say it does kind of look a little bit better. Like the numbers, obviously a full 2023 campaign, but as of right now, how it's looking, it does kind of look he's going to look better when the season ends. It's going to look better than his MVP runner-up.
There's maturity. There's
leadership and maturity.
Yes, yeah.
It's the difference in the play calling.
It resembles that. Yeah, it resembles that of like, and I hate to be so recent on the bias, but it resembles what just won Josh Allen an MVP. maturity in his numbers, being able to possess and keep the ball and show that you're not giving the defense the ball more than you are either holding it and doing nothing with it or just scoring.
He's taken less sacks this year.
Right.
So the offensive line, A, has improved. B, Dak has been less mobile around trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
And he's relied on his run game a lot. And he's not throwing to, just because I have CeeDee Lamb, I'm not throwing into the middle of the field and letting CeeDee Lamb go get it. Mm-hmm. I think having George Pickens on the other side has helped him and created decisions. Yes. And then you put into it.
You can call better plays. You can do so much more.
Schottenheimer's offensive play calling has been amazing. Ferguson, the tight end,
yes,
has played amazing. And then you have a good complementary wide receiving core too. So I think Dallas has the potential, if not this year, if they re-sign George Pickens to a contract for next year,
they need
be on the lookout because Dallas. I think they should.
Really got a choice.
He's played himself into a contract. He's played himself into a contract.
We could talk about Quentin Williams. We could talk about what's my guy's name? We traded from Green Bay. Kenny Clark. We could talk about Kenny Clark. Yeah.
Yep.
We can talk about.
You can talk about those guys.
George Pickens and Quentin Williams. I think I said George Pickens' name two times. But also, one of the signings of the offseason as well, Javonte Williams.
Has been a monster.
One of the underrated signings of this offseason as well for the Cowboys.
And give it up for that. Give it up for that offensive line though for making those holes so good.
Yeah, the revamp of the offensive line, the killer T's as I like to call them. Tyler Booker, Roll Tide. Tyler Guyton, he's finally coming along as a left tackle because at first it was like he's out of position. Your first year in the NFL going from the right to the left, like, you protecting your quarterback's blind spot besides being like, whatever you're doing on the right side. Then, of course, we see what Tyler Smith coming in when my guy Tyron Smith was still on the team. So they moved him in the left guard, and he just got his contract this offseason, so he's good. So, yeah, so like, you know what I'm saying? And then we only traded one draft pick for that for Quentin Williams. Well, one first-round draft pick, and the other one was a third. So we still got 3 first-round draft picks over the next 2 years. So still can make some moves to do some things. Probably going to get rid of Diggs. We can probably get a third or fourth rounder for Trevon Diggs.
He's expendable.
Yes,
he is because the secondary's actually been playing pretty well too, and you got to look at it. The biggest question mark 2 weeks ago was the defense. Look at the adjustment that Jerry Jones made. He didn't trade for one defensive guy to replace Michael Parsons. He traded for 3.
Yes,
and now all of a sudden you're going against a stout run defense that is not allowing Saquon Barkley, the rushing leader last year, to get 50 yards from scrimmage.
And then, like I said, Overshown, because Overshown is the guy, he can fly sideline to sideline. I just pray that he can actually stay healthy for a full season. But Overshown is a guy, like I said, he can, like I said, he can fly around. So, like, it's like everything is coming at the right time. It's just like, can the Cowboys, because the Cowboys are the king of getting in their own way. Can you not get in your own way and go on a run?
If Dak Prescott plays the way he's been playing, I think you're talking about going on a run and making a decent playoff push. But it's up to Dak Prescott. The maturity, kind of to Dre's point, right? He's matured so much. He's taking care of the ball. He's not taking stupid sacks. He's making sure and he's getting rid of the ball to the right location. He's not just throwing it up. If he keeps playing like this all season, you're looking at a very dangerous Dallas team.
I can agree with that.
I'm going to put a bow on that. Yeah. And then we got our nightcapper. I'm going to add a bonus game in here as well before we go into that topic. Who's the best?
I hope it's the one that I'm thinking you should talk about.
We should go shopping on
Black
Friday.
Know what we talk about
we should go shopping on Black Friday.
We should go shopping on Black Friday, but we gonna get into the nightcapper of this game. You got Cincinnati, who's Cincinnati.
The return.
Then we got the resurging Baltimore Ravens, 1-5. Now they're 6-5. I remember just 10 years ago, the Kansas City Chiefs started the season 1-5. They finished on a 10-game win streak, get into the playoffs, and actually won a playoff game. What do we expect from the Baltimore Ravens tomorrow night in that game?
A win. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to
Because
say.
we all know how the NFC,
they are
not,
trying to-
excuse me, we all know how the AFC North gets down. It don't matter what the records are. Those games are, hey, pack your lunchbox. It's time to go to work. Raphael knows because he's in that area. So, what do we see?
I will say this. I mean, you got Baltimore, who's coming off 3-game win streak right now, and their defense has still improved, but there's still injury worries. Their run game is not what it should be with Derrick Henry in the backfield. Their offense, Lamar Jackson is not playing as good as he was expected to play. The only bright spot on the offense right now is Mark Andrews, and Zay Flowers is semi-productive, but the offensive line can't keep Lamar Jackson out of trouble. The other side of it, defensively, they've been struggling with some injuries. Hamilton injured himself last week a little bit. He's dinged up. But at the same time, you're still looking at a Zach Orr defense that is pretty formidable, and they did a pretty good job against a resurging New York Jets offense, because they got 2 wide receivers out of that are playing pretty well.
But they got Mechie now,
Mechie and Mitchell. You know, so they gave up a few big plays, but if they can limit those big plays, then you're looking at Baltimore walking out. T.
Higgins is out because he just got concussed on Thursday.
T. Higgins is out,
and they're playing Thursday.
Yeah, but Jamar Chase is back. He served his 1-game suspension, and Joe Burrow is back.
Joey B
is off of injury. He just got announced today by Adam Schefter.
That's fine, but this is still another thing.
Really showing up. What version of Joey B is really showing up tomorrow is what I'm asking, because 2.5 months ago they said that this guy would not play again until December, and I understand that it's close to December, but 2 weeks ago this guy started trying to practice again, and I think that's the only Joe Burrow returning tomorrow. Other than this being another division game, the NFL did a very good job tomorrow. Actually, between tomorrow and Friday, can't wait to talk about that. Between both days, scheduling the right teams to play to get butts and seats to watch these games. Ending the night with another NFC, starting the day with NFC North, ending it with AFC North. Excellent job, because just like I said, the AFC North is scrappy. You got to fight your way out of that dog pile. And in that dog pile, the Steelers, the Browns, the Bengals, and the Ravens. And it's no easy feat. And all these teams are playing like absolute trash. The Steelers just lost Aaron Rodgers for a couple weeks. We don't know when he's coming back now. We know what's going on down there in Cleveland. The only thing left now is to see if the Ravens can right their wrongs and get back into playoff position. I think
they will.
Yeah,
I personally think they will.
I think they look like wild card at best this year. But I mean, that's just the unfortunate luck of the draw. But
hopefully they can get
somebody's got to make it out of the AFC North.
Yeah,
I'll say this: my prediction for that game: Baltimore wins 27-17.
I think I've been on the string, so I'm gonna go left field. I'm gonna go upset just because I want to see something different. But I'll go Cincinnati 26-23 if anything. And like I said, to put a bow on that. And now we're gonna go on to Black Friday. We got
Black Friday.
A team surging. I did what I predicted. I know what when we did our schedule preview 6 months ago, I did say like there might be 3 teams from the NFC North in the playoffs. And it's looking like it might be 3 teams from the NFC North in the playoffs. We'll see how it unfolds, but we got Chicago Bears going against the oh so hated Philadelphia Eagles. Black Friday, Amazon Day. Pretty sure they're going to be pitching out deals throughout that game. But what are our expectations for that game on Black Friday? Go ahead, Dre.
Wow. A couple weeks ago, the Chicago Bears, if I'm not wrong, were sitting at maybe 3-3, 2-3, somewhere around there. With a couple weeks, some momentum, some great quarterback play and a great defense can do for you. The Chicago Bears are in a position that in quite some time we haven't seen them in. And even when they had Mitchell Trubisky, they were kind of teetering, just kind of being borderline playoff ready. This team looks like one of those teams that like goes into the playoffs set ablaze and ends up making it to the NFC Championship, quite like
Washington last year.
It's quite like their division rival, quite like another guy from the AFC South a couple years ago who has flamed out a little bit. I'm glad we're not talking about him right now. But hot young quarterbacks find a way to, they find a way to do stuff like this. And I really like what I've been a big Caleb Williams fan, even despite his scrutiny. I've been a fan of Caleb for a very long time. And to see him do well, to see any young quarterback do well in the NFL is always fun. But this is against, one of the University of Alabama's own, and Jalen Hurts. He just so happens to play for the team that doesn't have the star on the side of the helmet that the NFL or the rest of the fans hates more than the Cowboys and the Chiefs. So right now the Eagles are number 3 on the NFL's most hated list. And so, that's what makes me a fan of the underdog in this situation. I guess I'm pulling the string this time. I'm going underdog, and I'm going a Black Friday deal that extends Caleb Williams and the Bears up to 9 wins.
I ain't got no problem with that, but they coming in hot. Philly, like I said, you're 8-3, but it seems like every game is always something. Y'all been winning all these games. Sometimes winning, you think winning cures all, but sometimes how the numbers are looking for y'all, And then we saw this, just 2 seasons ago. They started I want to say 10-3 or whatever, or something like that. And next thing you know, they started 10-1. Next thing you know, they flame out. They make it to the playoffs, but they flame out and get curb stomped by Tampa. Then that's when the Saquon Barkley edition goes in. You add Kellen Moore, who knows how to call plays better than who they got right now. And we seen what happened last year. And I'm still standing on that hill of Saquon should have won the MVP, but that's neither here nor there. And now we go into this year. We kind of know your identity. We know what you're going to do. So we're just going to key on Saquon. Can Jalen Hurts go out here 18 weeks and make teams pay 18 weeks? That's what some of these opposing defenses are saying. We're going to stop your best weapon. And then also you got your main guy who you're paying all that money. He's only getting 3 targets a game, 4 at best. So there's that. You got the other guy on the other side who's a Heisman Trophy winner, by the way, who might put up numbers here and there, but still in the same boat as AJ. So what do we?
He would on a different team that's going to pass the ball. The issue with it is the reality of it is we don't know Philly's identity, because one week they want to give the ball to Saquon, the next week they want to try to spread the wealth and give it to AJ Brown, and you can't be successful trying to focus on one side of it. You have to be a balanced team. But the problem is their offensive line is dinged up. Lane Johnson isn't playing 100%. And I think
he didn't even play. Yeah, he didn't even play Sunday.
Right, but he wasn't playing 100%. He got dinged up 2 weeks ago. He wasn't playing 100%. Mailata hasn't played well. He's been giving up quite a few sacks. And I think teams are just learning how to beat them. On the flip side, Chicago, I was not the biggest Caleb Williams fan. I thought he was going to be a bust. And if Matt Eberflus was still the head coach, he probably would have been.
Probably very much so.
See, coaches like that will kill a quarterback.
Caleb Williams is a system quarterback. And luckily, Ben Johnson is the right system for Caleb. And a lot of people were like, well, it didn't work out week 1, week 2, week 3, week 5. Right.
That's fine. That's going to take
but
time.
That's fine because they're still learning each other as far as coach quarterback, right? I think now you have Ben Johnson kind of in that, because we saw it when Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator for Detroit and he had Jared Goff, and they weren't winning a whole lot of games, right? Because he used to be Jared Goof. And then all of a sudden,
or Jared Off,
yeah. And then all of a sudden he starts producing, and it takes a little bit of time to produce with a quarterback. And I think with the way the defense is playing, Caleb Williams, we talk about maturity. Caleb Williams is second year and is starting to mature into that sophomore level that we expect a quarterback to be at. And I think you're seeing a very dangerous Bears team that's going to be a dark horse, and it's going to present a big time threat to the NFC. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I know who my
wouldn't be
with my pick. Be
surprised if they are in the NFC Championship, man.
And with that said, I think Philly starts to figure it out a little bit, because I think when their back's against the wall, they do tend to figure it out. I think Philly figures it out a little bit, but it's not going to be enough to win. I'm also going with the underdog on this. I'm going with Caleb Williams and the Bears. The Browns won't win a game. Caleb Williams and the Bears to beat Philly 30-27.
That's a good prediction.
I'm going to go Philly. I don't think that. I really honestly don't. I mean, in the world, I can see the Cowboys win the division, but I think the Eagles are going to win it. So I'm going to go Philly. I really ain't got no score. It's just that, whatever. Would I be surprised if Chicago wins? No, because I still think, like we just talked about, they have enough. This defense is comfortable enough to go out there and stop Saquon, box in Jalen Hurts. And then we all know that, like, if you can't do one, you can't do the other. So it's just like, and it seemed like the best thing for a team is to let Philly go up big. I wouldn't take a chance on that, but I'm just saying, because they can't run the ball, because when you get a lead that big, 9 times out of 10 you're going to try to keep the clock in your favor, and they can't do that. So there's that. But the problem is the problem with Philly, and why I'm going with the Bears, is because look what Philly faced last week. They faced a really stout defense that refused to give up, was gritty and physical, and the Bears they refuse to give up. They're gritty and they're physical, and look what they did to Philly. So I'm just saying, it's going to be 30-27. 100%. What about you, Fan? What you got for this one?
I had a question for the group after Fan go, too.
All right.
Just looking at the report, the injury report for the Eagles, they had Barkley as questionable. He was limited in practice. And it had Smith limited but did not practice on Wednesday. And the reason why I bring that up, you're going up against a hot Chicago team coming in. They've only lost 3 games. Everybody's playing well. If those 2 guys are not 100%, I don't see Philly winning. Because those 2 guys outside of Jalen Hurts are very pivotal to that offense. So with that being said, I got Chicago winning by a walk-off field goal.
That's why I said you had a good prediction, Raphael.
But what we got? What you got for us, Dre? What's your question? What's your poll?
So the question that I pose to the group, since we're talking about Philadelphia, since we're talking about a talented group, since we're talking about the NFL, how much talent is too much talent on a team like that, with the offense like that, with a superstar at receiver, an emerging star at receiver, an absolute future Hall of Famer at running back, an O-line cast that, we could talk about for days, a tight end that very well could be a multi-time Pro Bowler in his own right. And then you have a quarterback that you never really want to say is the issue. You could say plug and play, and it's a completely different offense with a different person. I feel like you plug and play with somebody like Josh Allen, you still have the same issue, is what I'm getting at. I don't think, outside of the old adage that there's only one ball, that is true. There is only one football. It can only get around to so many people. I feel like for years now, the offense for Philadelphia has been good, and I feel like they call the best plays to put their teams in the best position. But how much talent for the Eagles can be too much talent? And kind of like what was posed, when does that ego troubles really start to show its head?
All right, I'm gonna start.
I think
it's
like
this.
Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
So I don't even think it's the talent thing, because you got to think, in their Super Bowl years, the 2 coordinators, they're now head coaches. Shane Steichen is in Indiana with Daniel Jones, and he's what? They're 9-3. I mean, Kellen Moore's with the Saints, we know they got some old guys, they got some contracts to get off the book here and there, and that's the situation. But as far as I go, their 2 best years, their 2 Super Bowl years. This is some of the same cast, except for the first Super Bowl when they lost to the Chiefs. They didn't have Saquon, but they still had a Miles Sanders, and I want to say they had DeAndre Swift, but they had A.J. Brown, they had Devontae Smith, they had a Dallas Goedert, they had a Lane Johnson. Jason Kelsey was on the team, not retired yet. They had my guy Landon Dickerson, Roll Tide. Like I said, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was really on his way to MVP, but he got hurt versus the Saints. Ironically, I think he got took out in that game, so it kind of took him out the MVP race. Okay, like I said, you come off the year when you lose the Super Bowl, you're pretty much hungover. You start 10-1, but you finish 11-6 and you lose in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts leads the league in turnovers. Shane Steichen is now in Indianapolis. Okay, now guess what? We go into this the 24 offseason. We bring in Saquon Barkley. You still got that same offensive line. You still got those same 2 receivers, and you still got that same tight end. The only difference is you had 2 quality play callers in the midst of you making those 2 Super Bowl runs. So I don't really think it's a talent issue. I think the offensive coordinators in these down, I guess you quote unquote say down years, I don't think they know how to use this personnel. Or they're trying to overthink in using the personnel. Like you said, A.J. Brown went out here last game, 4 targets already in the first quarter, finished with 8 for 110. Force feed Saquon. That's how it seemed to be early and often. So, yeah, that's my thing. What's his name? Kevin Patullo. So, yeah, I think that's really what it is. I think it's the play calling itself. You got too much talent to be this lackluster. So,
well, the question shouldn't be, Dre, how much talent is too much talent on a team, because you can never have too much talent. What you can have is too much ego.
Right.
And I think the really big issue is you have this stuff that was festering from last year with A.J. Brown wanting the ball more, and it's kind of carrying over into this year where he's complaining and wanting a trade. And when you bring that unwanted attention on top of what Likes is saying, where you have a lot of guys that sit there and they want the ball, they want the money, they want the contract, and they're talented, but I mean, I just think it's an ego thing. It's not talent. It has nothing to do with talent, because they have the same amount of talent when they won the Super Bowl as to now. And it's not just management. Now you have different coordinators who don't know how to use the talent, and they're trying to appease everybody in that locker room. Mm-hmm. And the reality of it is you can't make everybody happy.
You never can.
I mean, I learned that coaching. I had a kid that wanted to play quarterback, wide receiver, running back, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, and safety at the same time. Like, dude, you can't do
Iron Man.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he was trying. He was trying. I was working out run the ball.
There,
hey, bro, like, just relax. Man. But when you have, it's not that he wasn't talented. It's just that you have to understand your role.
Yes.
And what your role is, and you have to understand the scheme that wants to be done, right? Like if we're going to give Saquon the ball, guess what? A.J. Brown, sorry, bro. If you want the ball and you want to be the number 1 guy at all times, you can either switch to running back or you can go somewhere else.
You got to be better than the
see,
best running
that's
back
the
in
thing, too, is like, you know what I'm saying? We love Jalen Hurts. It's 3 Alabama fans up here. We've seen Jalen Hurts as a raw college football quarterback at his worst, inaccurate, can throw the ball, but had no placement. Defense is keying on same situation. Defense is keying to stop the run, stacking the box. It got later on in his freshman year at Alabama. That's when teams really started to figure out, hey, this guy can't. Okay, cool. Now we go into his second year. Okay. We run it out we run it back the second year, but guess what? Now you in a situation to where we're down in the championship. Now we got to put a Tua Tagovailoa in. They can't do that in the NFL. Who they go? They don't have a 5-star on the bench to replace Jalen Hurts to insert him. So yeah, something like that as well.
You can't blame Jalen Hurts. You cannot blame Jalen Hurts. He's not playing bad football.
He's not.
It's the scheme. Yeah. It is the scheme that he's in, because he's a good quarterback that really is deserving of that position. He's done well for the city of Philadelphia. He's done well for the Eagles, and I think he belongs there. And I think he's accurate. He's grown. He's matured. You got a new offensive coordinator that doesn't know how to use his talents. You see the header in the background. You see what it says right there. And I'm going to say it. Even though they won a Super Bowl with this quarterback,
I don't think they
Mm-hmm.
trust him. I don't think they trust him.
They
I'm just
don't.
gonna be
They don't.
100% honest. I don't think they trust him. And they were put in a situation last year to where the Chiefs, even though they got their butts kicked, they still stopped Saquon. But luckily, the Eagles' defense, all they had to do was just rush their base defensive linemen, get back there to Patrick Mahomes, who had offensive line issues in the Super Bowl, and also their defense was also putting them in short fields. Cooper DeJean had a pick six, and he had another interception where they had a short field. So when you do things like that help your quarterback, basically all I'm saying is Jalen Hurts is going to have to do more than what he's going to doing right now. That's all I'm saying. Because it's not going to be like even A.J. Brown said it. What are we going to do when the defense can't bail us out? The defense didn't bail them out on Sunday.
But we started the show talking about Jordan Love and is Matt LaFleur putting the reins on Jordan Love. The real question is the new offensive coordinator putting the reins on Jalen Hurts?
I don't even think it's him. I think this has been why you think they go out and get an AJ. Why you think they put all this? I mean, of course you want the best assets around your quarterback, but why you think you kind of go? You got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and then you go get a Saquon Barkley and put around Jalen Hurts because, like I said, it's a salary cap. It's a salary cap, but it's the same situation. It's kind of different, but at Alabama, when you got a Calvin Ridley, you got a Jerry Jeudy, you got a Henry Ruggs, you got a Devontae Smith, ironically. You got all these weapons. You got a great offensive line also at Alabama surrounding Jalen Hurts, also with a great defense. It's the same situation. It's capped out. You can't have the best players backing up the best players in the NFL. So
but then my question is it not, if it's not Jalen Hurts they don't trust, is it AJ Brown they don't trust because of all the issues going around and they refuse to get him the ball?
I don't think they don't trust AJ Brown. I think they don't want to just come out and say, hey, he's a distraction because they're just trying to keep the peace. That's what I'll get to with AJ Brown. And you see like a Devontae Smith, a difference in culture. He's raised by Alabama. He's not going to be a diva. So there's that. He's going to be quiet, humble guy. So, but yeah, they need to, like we said, with the Jalen Hurts, it ain't no, they don't trust. I think this has been a going thing. When they saw Jalen Hurts, when he took over as a full-time starter their first year, yeah, they made the playoffs, but look how they looked. That's why you go out and trade for AJ Brown, and you go and you keep building, and then like I said, you go in his second year as the full-time starter. Now he's an MVP candidate because you got an AJ Brown and a Devontae Smith on the other side with a quality run game. And then 2 years later, you go get Saquon Barkley. And like I said, Saquon Barkley should have won the MVP because look what he did for that team and as well as that defense. So, yeah, that's where I'm going to go with it. And that's why I'll put a bow on it before we go. If anybody else don't got anything to say, but that's pretty much what I got.
I do got
That's what I got.
In regards to Dre's question, I think talent becomes an issue once you hit adversity. Just looking at the Eagles' schedule, out of the 10 or 11 games they've played, only 2 or 3 of the teams are below 500. And I say that to say this, when you play better opponents and they know how to scheme, of course, they'll look average. And another thing that was left out, we keep focusing on the offense, the Eagles' offense. The defense is the one that's really carrying the team. So, to Dre's question, yes, the talent is an issue, but it'll only become an issue once adversity hits.
But
now it's going to be interesting.
Or there's an
Huh?
No, I'm agreeing with you. Adversity or an ego.
Yeah.
Because there are, and I'm piggybacking off that because there are 52 talented people on the team. So there's always too much talent. That's why I asked the question the way that I asked it. But go ahead.
Once that adversity hits, now you got, man, they need to throw me the ball. Bro, I could have did that. That's when it becomes the issue. Trust me, I played on teams where I'm going to revert back to college. Every year that I was at Alabama State, we had the chance to play in the SWAC championship. But the biggest thing that killed us is when we lost 1 or 2 games. That's when the adversity hit. They know, but wasn't nobody on the same page. Everybody thought they was bigger than the team, or they could have
finger point
done better. So to round it out, it becomes an issue once there's adversity. Now, let's just say they go out here and lose to Chicago And let's just say they lose Los Angeles. How would they respond to 3 straight losses? So the mark of a great team is how you respond to adversity. So I'm really interested to
And
know if they were to drop
this
these
is a
next 2 games.
this is a
How would
and this is a
that look?
difference because we can make fun of the Chiefs winning all them 1-score games last year, but hey, this is a Super Bowl team that just knows how to win. The Eagles know how to win, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like they just got too many like internal like nobody check. You seem like y'all bringing up the ego. It's like nobody's just checking the ego at the door. So that's what it seems like with them. So like I said, I think we can move on from that. And I think this is a perfect thing to close this out. AFC, NFC. Who do we think the best teams are in the conference? I know we got New England. I think got the best record in all of NFL at 10-2. Surprise team. I don't know if like when we did our schedule show back in May, I don't know if we saw this. I know we said we probably could see the Patriots improving. And then I know as far as the NFC, I know I don't really have one for AFC just yet, but I know as far as the
NFC is.
I am going LA Rams all day. Matt Stafford,
Rams
MVP candidate.
Devontae
Adams, Puka Nacua, great running game. Matt LaFleur calling up the best plays, and they got a young defense that can get out the quarterback with Jared Verse and all those guys. So I'm gonna go with the Rams on that one. But it seems like we all on the court. But who do we think the best team in the AFC is?
In the AFC, personally, I mean, I think it's hard to overlook. And it's amazing what a good head coach could do, right? That changes a culture. It's amazing what culture does to a team. And when you look at what the Patriots are doing, no, we didn't expect them to be this good. But does it really surprise anybody that they bring back Mike Vrabel, one of their own? He's now a head coach. He was a head coach at Tennessee, and Tennessee fired him because they're idiots. And you see how good that went for Tennessee.
Go in a different direction. I mean,
right.
I'm gonna stop you right here and let you finish. It's just certain situations where you just know you just hit your peak. So with that Tennessee, the Vrabel era, it just kind of hit the peak. So
yeah, but
let's just start over.
But now you're looking at what he brings to New England, where he loved playing. Mm-hmm. He brings a Belichick style to New England back, and look at all the buy-in that's there. Look at all the buy-in from Drake May. They when they drafted Drake May, and we saw Drake May play on that terrible New England team last year with Gerard Mayo as the head coach, and you go, wow, Drake May is going to be something. You give him Travion Henderson, you give him Keyshawn Boutte, and you give him Hunter Henry, and you go, now do something with it.
You draft the left tackle, and you draft the left tackle.
You have Will Campbell,
Ramondre Stevenson. And then you got the other running back that was from Ohio State, Trayvon Henderson. You got that guy.
I mean, you look at the stack of talent they have behind them. I mean, it's hard to say New England's not the best, but I will say in the AFC, for me, I still put my money on. Indiana Jones.
I'm glad. See, I thought you was gonna say that because then I was gonna come through with the Colts are doing more with less. If we're being honest.
The Colts. I was just about to say, man. I hear you. I was about to say, I hear you on the whole Patriots thing. I even really like Bo Nix and the Broncos. But if I had to pick right now, the best team in the AFC is the Indianapolis Colts.
Shane Steichen's going to figure it out on a grass field, so that's not even a talk. That's not even a conversation. I mean, you have hands down probably, in my opinion, the MVP front runner in Jonathan Taylor. You have
Michael Pittman, Tyler Warren.
Michael Pittman.
Alec Pierce, I think. Yeah.
You have that tight end that was drafted out of Penn State.
Yeah, Tyler
You have Tyler Warren.
Traded for Sauce Gardner.
Traded for Sauce Gardner. I mean, you have a solid defense, and I think they'll figure it out. Shane Steichen's going to figure it out on the grass. The only fear that I have is they have not won on a grass field yet. And if they get into the playoffs, they're going to have to go through Denver. Or they're going to have to go to New England and play them.
Do it for 60 minutes.
And you got to play for 60 minutes. You got to play for 60 minutes.
You just need to be the better team on that day. That's all that really matters.
But to that point, you just took Super Bowl championship team to the wire on grass in a very tough stadium, one of the hardest stadiums to play in the NFL at Arrowhead, and you went to the wire with Andy Reid as a head coach. So I still think Indianapolis has it. I think Indianapolis is going to be the front runner in the AFC.
The thing about that game, and I'm glad you brought that up, I think when you have teams like that on the ropes, you got to put them away. They should have went for it on that fourth down instead of giving Patrick Mahomes the ball back.
Yes.
Because we know when Patrick Mahomes wants to go out there and win, he's going to make plays with his legs as well. So when they were down in that game, Patrick Mahomes was making plays with his legs as well as with his arm. So, yeah, I think that's something that Shane Steichen can learn from. Like, yeah, okay, in the next situation like this, I'm going to go for it. So, and then they kind of fell flat in the second half, at least that fourth quarter. But I think even the second half, they fell flat in that game. But yeah, you're right. They came close to winning that game. So,
but we all agree. Every single one of us agrees
I'm gonna
that
go
the
Colts.
LA Rams.
I would go. Definitely Rams.
The Rams are the best team in the NFC, and possibly you're talking Super Bowl champs.
I would go out and say, if we go even expand it to the NFL, I would say the Rams is the best team in the NFL.
Hands down.
Yeah. So they got the best play caller / head coach. They got the best, like I said, they got an MVP quarterback right now. Right now, it's very fluid. Word to Stephen A. Smith, it's very fluid. Because I remember when Baker was the MVP front runner, and now they kind of fell off. But NFC South
Baker's hurt.
The NFC
Baker's
South.
hurt.
Yeah. So we got that going. So it's just like, but yeah. So like I said, the Rams, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, and them guys, the nice run game that they have. Like I said, with the defense. Okay. As far as the second best, it's crazy because you can pick plenty of teams in the AFC as you want your second best. You can go with New England, maybe the best. You got the Colts, Broncos, number 2. We got Colts, number 1. You go Patriots, Broncos, number 2. So it's just like, who do we think? Because I don't think Philly is the second best team in the
No, I think the Bears.
NFC.
I think the Bears right now. I think the Bears right now are
I like that. Are
the second best, and right behind them is Detroit.
No. See, this is why I defer. I think San Francisco might be the second best because you got to look at what they're dealing with and what they did. They lost Brock Purdy. They've lost Fred Warner and lost Nick Bosa, and look what they're still managing the ship. Yeah, they're still riding the ship.
I respect it. I respect it, but I still have to say I think Detroit with MCDC now calling plays.
Yeah,
and finding the right spot. I still think Detroit is right behind the Bears, but I think the Bears are right now the hottest team in the NFC. I think the Bears are riding a streak, and I think the Bears, even if they drop one of their games in their final 5, are the second hottest team in the NFC. And I think you're looking at the Bears are going to surprise a lot of people. And again, I'm not a big fan of Caleb Williams. I'm not a big fan of the Bears, but I am a big fan of them this year. And I think that I'm very impressed with how they're doing it in Chicago.
Bear down. And on that note, we can pretty much wrap it up. What you got for us, fan? I know you've been kind of. I know you're waiting to get to the. All right. So thank y'all for tuning in to Let Me Say This. We're going to wrap this up and take a little quick intermission, and then we're going to go into everybody's favorite podcast, The Elephant in the Room, and we're going to have the Let Me Say This contributor, Raphael, on that show as we talk about Rivalry Week with a lot of some of the best rivalry, not just in college football, but in sports happening this weekend. But thank y'all for tuning in. Finn Fitterson, Dre Davis, Raphael Rose, I'll be one, Anthony Likes.
I'd actually like to say this because I have to drop. I got to do the family stuff. However, I will say this: when it comes to the game, I'm looking at right now, Ryan Day is going to get some payback this year.
Oh
when it comes to the game, I think
most definitely.
Yeah, I just want to say my part before you guys get into the elephant in the room on this one.
That's fine. But I think we don't get up out of here.
I think Ryan Day is going to get some payback this year because I don't think Michigan's looked as solid as
on the road too. Road too.
I think Ryan Day gets a little payback and saves his job.
What about
if you were to lose it, then
because I can't really say he saved his job because he just won a championship. I know they were ready to run him out of town last year because of that, but when you win a championship, it prolongs it. It does prolong it. It does prolong it.
I think Alabama's playing. I think Alabama's playing really good football right now. I still don't. I think Texas.
They sure will.
I think Texas is a fraud. I don't think
Yeah, we
Texas
gotta
is
do
for
that.
real.
We gotta do
Shout out to
that.
Dre.
Miami
keep
being
them.
behind Notre Dame in the rankings is
Criminal.
criminal.
Even Alabama. Notre
Yeah.
Dame lost both their top three.
man.
Well, they beat Pitt,
Bama,
but they lost both their biggest matchups. They lost both their biggest matchups.
And they're still ahead of Alabama, and they're still ahead
Excuse
of Miami, which is, I think, a bunch of crap.
Don't
But
matter.
that's
We just
that's
should've
beside
lost at home.
besides the point.
All right, man.
So-
We're gonna go ahead and
But on that note, hey, I'm happy to be back, boys. I'm happy
happy
to be
Thanksgiving,
back.
everybody. Enjoy your holiday this weekend. Be safe. And we got while we're all here, we also have a birthday tomorrow. It's not me. It's not
Happy
Dre.
birthday
It's
to
not Raphael.
me.
It will be the one Finn.
Happy birthday,
Finn.
Pushing
homie.
closer and closer to 40.
Appreciate it.
That's all I'm gonna
Pushing
say.
30, close
But,
to 35.
So yeah, we do have a birthday,
Pushing P.
Grandpa. But thank y'all for tuning in and let me say this. We're gonna get this up and running, and then we're gonna go
34
move
and
on
0.
into the elephant in the room. All right.